So I, Bob Mueller, to call today's governing board directors meeting to order at 11:05 a.m. And let the record show that all board members and staff participating by Zoom and any votes taken during the teleconference will be taken by roll call. And at this time, I'm going to conduct a roll call to confirm we have a quorum. So, Mona Moore, are you present?
Here.
And then John Thorpe, are you present?
Present.
Christopher Pereira, are you present? Okay, so Christopher let us know he would not be able to attend today, and I, Bob Mulhern, am present also. We'll move to our call to the public. Do we have any public, Bianca?
No, we do not.
Okay. So we're going to move to the consent agenda, and then John needs to be gone by noon, and so Bianca will kind of explain what our plan will be after that. But we'll start with the consent agenda, and there were three items on there, and we received all the backup on them, so thank you. But if anybody wants to point anything off, let me know. Otherwise, if we could get a motion to approve the consent agenda, I'd appreciate it.
This is John Thorpe. I move to approve the consent agenda.
Perfect. Is there a second? I guess I can second it. Can I, Bianca, since I'm a
Yes, you
so
can.
so I will second that. So moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Mona Moore,
Yes, I.
Mona, John,
Aye.
and then I'm also an aye. So the consent agenda is approved. Bianca, you want to tell us what our next plan is here?
Yes, so we're going to move up agenda item VB, which is the discussion and action to accept the audits and financial or compliance questionnaires. Those were provided to you guys in an email that was previously sent that included all of them. So Katie's here to answer any questions or have any comments you guys have.
So the only comment I have is since I was got to sit in on the Arizona board meeting, is that it was an incredibly successful audit process. The whole team, Katie team, should be very proud, and we should be very proud of them. So I will just say that having said that, with all of those, they all kind of looked the same. It was, everything looked in good order. So I don't have any questions. I don't know if John or Mona do. If not, we can take a motion to accept the. So I'll just say accept the audits and compliance questionnaires by roll call.
And
Is there a motion?
no questions here. No, I'll move to accept the questionnaires.
Perfect. And the audits.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will again take a roll call vote. Mona,
I.
John,
Aye.
and I, Bob Mulhern, also are an aye. So that will pass. So thank you guys for helping us move that up, because it's going to help make sure. I don't think there's anything else we need to vote on today. Is there, Bianca?
Nope, that was the last action item.
Nice action item. Okay, so then we can go on to move to our Academy operations report, which I'm excited to hear, because it's a great story for all of us, how they've done. So I won't take any more of the spotlight away from them. So, Brandon, do you want to make the introduction?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mulhern, and thanks, board members, for being here today. So, yeah, as you can see, of course, we're all in separate spots. We're spread out from people's homes to Archway, Scottsdale, to Maryville, to Chandler. So, couple more months, and then hopefully that construction on that home office will be complete. But certainly, like you mentioned, Mr. Mulhern, to kick things off, we have our Academy Spotlight, and for this quarter's meeting, we have our wonderful leaders from our Maryville campus, Rachel Mercado and Crystal Cruz, to share with you about their wonderful accomplishments and the work they've been doing. So, Crystal, Rachel, please take it away.
I'll unmute myself. We're excited to be here and to have the opportunity to share more about things that we're doing here at Maryville. As you all know, we were founded in 2012, and we have for several years been serving K-12 students. So on the next slide, I'll share a little bit more about our current enrollment. We currently have just over 1,200 students here. As you know, we are written to be a K-12 school. We are done with expansion on the K-6 side, which is our Archway side, and we are still expanding on the prep side. We will have over 1,400 students by the time we are done expanding. We started out as a 230 student school with 13 staff members, and we're up to just over 120. So just steadily increasing. This photo here is one of our, not our first class, but they're ninth or 10th graders in our school now and throughout the valley.
In 2022, I'm Rachel Mercado. Thank you, the Maryville Prep Headmaster. In 2022, we had our first graduating class of seniors where we had 27 students graduate. And for the past few years, we've had over 119 students graduate from Maryville Prep. Over $5 million in scholarships they have earned. Last year was our first graduating class where we had 11 of our 33 graduates that started with us in kindergarten go all the way through our program and finish off their senior year. So that was a very exciting year for us. Our legacy students that we got to celebrate last year. And this year we have 28 students graduating in May of 2026.
Even on the Archway side, we are really excited about our graduates. Many of us have been here for a long time and see them to and through. So that those 11 students, we're just really proud of. And part of that approach is our one school approach. We do truly see ourselves as a K-12 campus. We have unique Archway and Prep programs respectively, but really work hard as a leadership team to maintain that one school mindset and create unity and focus all the way across. Every student who comes to Maryville Prep, regardless of when they come, belongs to everyone on this campus. And that really has helped us just with that foundation of success of knowing our students well, knowing our family and our community well and what they need. So unique to Maryville and only one other academy in the Great Hearts Network, we operate with one budget. So Headmaster Mercado and I are consistently working through finances and looking at things and how to really best appropriate funds to our campus, to our programs and things. Our K-12 athletics program is an epitome of this one school approach, really having programs that serve all the way across with our mini matadors in K4, and then our middle school and high school athletic programs. We offer a range of extracurricular clubs so that students can have that experience to and through as well. We have about 30 different club options across K-12 any given season, and just really focus on a lot of school-wide community events. If Archway is showcasing something, Prep is often invited and there and vice versa. We really want our students to see that long view of what is to come ahead of them once they are in that prep school. And so we really try to schedule events with that in mind and bring the full community together as much as we can.
Our Great Hearts mission, you're probably familiar with it. It is to cultivate the minds and hearts of our students through pursuit of truth, goodness, and beauty, which is an anchor and foundation for all that we do, all of our practices, and specifically at Maryville Preparatory Academy. Our school-wide mission is to prepare our students for college, a virtuous life, and leadership, and we do that throughout our curriculum and all of our enrichment clubs, our sports programs. We really want to ensure our students are prepared to go to college. And we do that at an early age by exposing students to colleges, taking them to campuses here across the valley in Flagstaff and Tucson, and really just helping parents understand what the college process is. Many of our parents did not go to college. Their students are first generation college students. So it's really a work of just helping parents understand the process and what it takes to apply to a college, get accepted into college, and then succeed through 4 years of college or a 2 year trade school or whatever they choose to do. And we do that by obviously teaching virtues throughout our curriculum, throughout our day-to-day processes, and really just helping students understand and families understand that the virtues and the leadership qualities that they're learning here at Maryville Prep and at our Great Hearts School is really what's going to help them be successful as they go into college, graduate from college, and become adults in their communities. Leadership within their community, leadership and examples to those people around them here in Maryville, in their families. That's a really important part of the work that we do.
All of our academies have thematic goals that change yearly based on need and what we are seeing. And for Archway, we really are focusing on wonder and rigor. We believe that those things tie in really well to our mission towards truth, goodness, and beauty. Really making sure that our full community, the parents, the teachers, the students understand that when it comes to truth and that discovery that we pursue, wonder is what really sparks that desire for truth, and rigor is what gives the students the tools to seek it. We also bring that into goodness and to virtue. We know that wonder opens those hearts for empathy and moral imagination, and rigor really forms those habits of discipline and virtue that we want to see in our students. And when we think about beauty, we know that wonder really helps students to notice and to be moved by the beauty in the world around them, and that rigor that trains their attention to linger and to analyze and to really wonder. And so as we're, working through the scope and the skills that we want them to work through, we're trying to be really mindful to always go really deep with those things and tie them to our mission for our Archway students.
For prep, as they transition from Archway to prep, this year we chose cultivating connection for our thematic goal. They learn so many important things, and they learn a lot of foundational things, but we really want to help them understand the connection of what we do and why we do it. Why are we teaching them virtues? Why do they have Socratic seminars? Um, why are we reading from specific texts and not others? And that was really important for us to help students understand. First, at the student level, why are we doing this? Why do we do the things we do? Why do we have a dress code? And then, of course, with the parents, helping the parents to understand the work that we do here, the curriculum that we use, the virtues that we teach. So our thematic goals was cultivating connection and really just so we can be on the same page and understand the purpose of what we're doing here at Maryville Prep, which then brings a greater engagement from students, from parents, from our community. And it was something that we wanted to focus on this year.
I think to best understand our academy is to understand who we serve. It's what brings all of us here every day. And it ties in really well to just the notion that Great Hearts has and truly believes in that the best education for all. The best education is the best for all. And I think Maryville really helps us to walk that talk as a network and gives us the opportunity to do so within our classical liberal arts model. So currently we have 100% of our students receiving free and reduced lunch, which is a blessing to our community to be able to come in for free breakfast, to have that free lunch that many of them depend on, and really be nourished for the day. We have 173 of our students across K-12 on individual education plans as part of our ESS program. The majority of those students being in Archway, we are able to wean some of those students off of their IEPs as we move through grade levels and with those added supports. We have 216 students currently who are EL students receiving English language services via push-in and pull-out model programs. 586 of our students receive interventions, so that's extra support in reading or math based on data and skill need. That's not in addition to just the differentiation that they receive throughout the day in the classroom and through wraparound services. These are interventions that happen during the school day. And then we have students, 105 of our students receive ongoing counseling in some format or fashion, whether they're on an IEP or just need it due to circumstances within their families. Are receiving that counseling either in individual or in group support. And we have those counselors on both sides of the campus doing that. These numbers sometimes are just ever growing. We really pride ourselves in being accessible to students and providing this education to every student who walks through our doors, regardless of their needs. And so we're really just proud to be able to serve as a foundation for our network, to, be blessed with the needs for accessibility and identify ways to really help all students, because we believe this classical model is for all students and that all students can rise to the expectations that we put in front of them. So that is our student body.
Yes, we are very blessed to serve our community, and it's a very diverse community with different needs. And so it is a very difficult work that our teachers face. They come to school as professionals, but they are really dealing and having to do a lot of differentiation within the classroom, support students not just academically, but in socially and behaviorally. They often hear a lot of issues that the students are going through and have to support them through that. They take on a lot of burden. When students share specifically difficult things that they're going through at home, the teachers really become a strong support and a safe place and stable place here at school for them. While having to uh, accommodate their needs, translate things for them because of their ELL needs. And our teachers really do an incredible job. And they're our heroes here, and they are dedicated to do the great work here, and they're very passionate. We have 8 faculty who have served 10 plus years, many faculty who have served 5 plus years. We have a very strong TA program, and Dr. Cruz does an incredible job of training up teacher assistants to become leads or to go into our TIR program and to become ESS coordinators. We have many teachers who serve as coaches in our sports programs, who lead clubs, who do morning and academic clubs, which we'll get into. But our teachers are really just doing a great and incredible work here and being able to support students not only in the classroom, in their academics, and seeing academic success and growth, but also in their other emotional needs, ensuring that they're taken care of, that they have glasses, that they have food, that they have clothes, that they have what they need. So we're very proud of our teachers and very happy to support the work that they're doing.
You can skip over just another one. It's okay. We are really proud to have these people come in and serve day in and day out, and we think that a huge, huge accolades go out to our teachers, and over time, they have really helped us with our success, especially those who have been here for many years. We are really happy to share that we received an A letter grade in our most recent data that was put out by ADE based on our AASA scores. And I won't read the growth to you and the accolades from the US News and World Report, but just to reiterate that, this has been an ongoing work trying to receive this letter grade. And we know that it is not our only work, right? At the heart of that work is really forming the minds and the souls of our students. And we knew that this would come eventually, but to have received this and not had an A since we opened in our first year and tested our one section of third grade students. It's something that we're really proud of and something that we wish to continue working towards as we move forward. To do that, we're constantly reworking the things that we're doing to see that upward growth trend, not just in our ASA scores, but in our Galileo benchmark scores, our reading scores, DIBELS and RAS scores, and our Azella ELL tests. There's just a lot of wraparound services that we provide that Headmaster Mercado alluded to, and that's having our teachers, our best teachers, apply and lead academic morning clubs and encouraging parents to bring them that extra hour early to school for that opportunity to engage even further in intervention with students. That's being creative and moving our students around throughout the day and like skill groups, whether that be for reading or for math. That's being really creative with our schedules and how we're going to pool our ELL students and when we're going to push in with them so that we're not, minimizing the amount of time that they're spending in class by pulling them out. We're really maximizing the time that they're in with their gen ed peers or with their peers who are on skill level by doing that. So it's just a lot of innovation year after year with a lot of support from our Great Hearts and Arizona and America PD teams and just data analysis that we go through. We'll go to the next slide. Yep.
On the prep side, we are doing a lot to support our students in the 7th through 12th grade. We have teachers have office hours in the morning at 7:15 where students can come in and receive additional support. We have a built-in intervention block during the day where all of our 7th through 10th graders are receiving interventions, and we have additional small group interventions going on for math during that time. We have an ELA intervention period throughout the day for our middle school students who need additional support. We offer after-school homework club for students who need a quiet space to do homework that teachers are manning so that they can help support students in doing their homework. Every teacher does tutoring throughout the week. And we'll call specific students to get additional tutoring. Of course, just as I said before, ensuring that students have the behavioral support that they need and the connections with the teachers and the staff so that they feel safe and able to go to people to get help. It's really something that we are helping them to understand how to advocate for themselves when they have needs, whether it be academic, whether it be behavioral support. These are just some things that we do to offer support to see academic success for our students.
Even though we have that A letter grade, we know that we haven't arrived and that we never actually will. There's always going to be a work to be done. But we use that and all other data to continue to really think about and refine those areas for improvement. Academically, right? Everything informs what's next, and we're already thinking ahead towards the next steps to increase those academic scores, but also really thinking about the talent that we aim to recruit and retain, and how we just continue to keep all stakeholders engaged. So there's a work to be done, and we're thankful to have the support to continue doing it.
As part of our student culture, we also try to have regular events for them through our PSO, through our school. We do field trips, college tours, our senior trip. We have extracurricular clubs on both the Archway and Prep. We have homecoming, spirit weeks, prom. We have neon dances for our middle school. We have a college and career fair. We have athletic field days. So just a lot of different things that we're trying to do to help students have a great experience here. Our sports program is thriving, where many of our students, 68% of our students have participated in sports last year. And we offer sports from kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade. And it's a place that they can come and learn more about how to be virtuous, how to be on a team, but also just to get better at a skill in their sport.
Well,
Sorry, I popped ahead,
okay.
Bianca.
And then we'll move over to our last slide and just talk through community engagement and how that is also really an important factor and who we do. We couldn't do what we do without the trust of our parents and the community who allow us to be here and to serve our students. And also without their support, they really are the ones who help us break bread together and be in community through events like our fall festival, our spring fiesta, our movie nights. We're ready to freeze on Friday night because we're weak here in Arizona with cooler weather and watch a movie together and be in community. But we couldn't do it without the trust of the people around us, and we're just really thankful to have the opportunity to serve here every day. And that is it. Any questions?
I'd like to start off with a comment that it's incredible what you guys are doing. And I hope you know how important it is for all the board and the Arizona board to know that, and I include Mac in this, that you guys have set such a foundation to, a part of our population that I just think we're probably making more, having a bigger, more positive impact here than anywhere else. So, and I know we had to give up our grand piano about a year ago because we moved. So I know it ended up at you guys' place, and it was just nice that there wasn't even a thought of anything else. It wasn't sell it. It wasn't. It was let's get this over to Maryvale. So I do think a lot of people love what you're doing, and it's important for you to know that. And recently, on the sides, Father Paul Sullivan at St. Agnes, they're having trouble getting their school going. They've lost kids over there. It's parochial school. And I just said, look, the good news is, I mean, Maryvale showed that if you get out there and you do the things they do, and so I've been just kind of sharing with him just how proactive you've been, how, you've made this work, and it's been to the great benefit of the students. So anyway, I just want to make sure you know that you don't maybe hear from us a lot or see us a lot, but we do follow, I think, very closely. And the A grade was incredible. So congratulations. And that's what and then I wonder too, is there anything that is particular to your campus that you might need that nobody else needs that we haven't really addressed, because again, you have just a whole different demographic that there might be just something that we need there that and you might have asked for and I don't know, or we haven't been able to give. Is there anything come to mind that is just missing from the puzzle, so to speak?
First, I would just start by saying thank you. We appreciate just the
Thank you.
support. We know that even if we're not, connecting with you face to face all of the time, we know that the support is there, and that's passed down through Brandon and our executive director. So it's much appreciated. And I would say like there are always things that we need, and we are always asking, and we don't feel hesitant to ask because we know that via our EDs and via Brandon that those things will work their way up the pipeline. So we will continue to do that. I think, as you're out amongst the community, the biggest things that we keep pushing for, right, are enrollment and talent. And so that spread by word of mouth is really helpful. And we trust that the finance pieces that we need, the philanthropic pieces that we need, and the support that we need will come through. And we never feel like we have to have your ear or your face on a board meeting to share that. We know that it funnels over to you appropriately and as it should. So we appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Mona, John, any thoughts or comments?
I just wanted to also say congratulations on that A grade. That is awesome. It's
Yeah.
the first year that you guys have gotten that, right?
We had it in 2012, our
Okay.
first year that we tested our single section of our third grade cohort, and we've moved through the scale of A's through all the way. We had a C at one point, and we're just we're excited. We know there are a lot of factors that contribute to it, and the more students we have, the harder we'll work to continue keeping that A.
That is awesome. And I loved your idea of thematic goals. I love that where you're focused on a few things every year. I can just tell when both of you are speaking, I can just feel the care that you have for the kids. So that is really wonderful. I am curious about your enrollment. You said that was something that you're working on. How close are you guys to full enrollment?
We're just a few numbers away, and that
I
fluctuates day
figured.
out.
Yeah.
But we don't have a robust wait list in a lot of our sections, and so that really is where we need to keep spreading the word. Families have a lot of choice around us, and maybe aren't always, they don't know yet that they need a classical liberal arts school. And so
Right.
it's really the more people that we have around us spreading word that we exist, that we're here and that we're doing good work. I think that comes from all of us, and that's a way that we can all contribute to that desired growing wait list.
Yeah. Great. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you all.
And Mona, I wrote down as they were speaking, I put a vivid vision, well communicated. That's what you guys exude. It's very clear what you're doing, and you're great communicators. So, I mean, that's what keeps things on track. So, again, just very excited to have heard all this today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have much to add other than the presentation was fantastic, and you guys are doing incredible work. And I know it's just a massive amount of work. So yeah, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You guys are doing a great job. So keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll move on, but just so you know, feel no obligation to stay. No headmasters have ever stayed, just so you know. So you, it's an excused absence, so to speak, because most of the stuff that follows is not that interesting compared to the hard work you have ahead of you. So
Okay.
we're great to see you, but don't worry about the fact that if you need to sign off. So have a great day, and again, thank you, and God bless all your efforts there at the school.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Sure.
Happy holidays.
Thank you
You
both.
too. Thanks. And again, thank you, Mac, for starting that whole thing off, which was a lot of work. So very appreciative. So we'll move on to
Thank you.
Great Hearts in the News. Brandon?
Yeah. I thought we just, we've made it a habit of just sharing some of this information. So, probably 3 times a week at minimum, we have some kind of story from our region or even just Great Hearts as a whole about what's going on. And sometimes those are special interest stories that you'll see here, or sometimes they're even larger stories. And when we go to the board meetings and we think, what are the three that we could choose? It could really be anything. We tend to look at what gets the most traffic. And it's funny if you had to predict it, what gets the most interest, as much as we're excited to say, hey, we've landed on an opening date in Blossom Rock, or there was this federal charter schools program grant. Those don't actually get the most love out there. It's actually these human interest stories, some of which we'll share here. So, and it just so happens circumstantially, Anthem makes its way, our Anthem campus makes its way into each one of these. So, team did a really neat job prior to Veterans Day. They they did a special feature on each veteran we have in Great Hearts who's on our faculty, and about I don't, 18 or so. And there was an article for each, and there was a general page, and so this is just one of them. But this is an ESS team member, Mr. Barkley at Anthem, who's been there for quite a while. But we had features like this all across our campuses, from Lincoln, some in our home office, Anthem, Maryville, and this was just a really wonderful thing. And so we were just really appreciative and proud to work alongside these really wonderful colleagues who've served our country and continue to serve our community, and it's been really great. So that was a neat kind of piece that then had its own individual pieces there. And then the next one that we really liked was related, but again, Anthem, a core of Anthem high schoolers went out, and you can see it here. And then if you have interest in the packet, you can definitely read the fuller story. But went out to World War II Museum in Louisiana with a group of World War II vets, and I know the number of World War II vets is smaller and smaller every year. So it's great that this is still an opportunity that exists, and got to spend time walking around the museum and hearing from the veterans. Just a really special thing that they were able to work out there about a little over a month ago. It was really fantastic. And then the third is, again, keeping Anthem just kind of coincidental, really. But this was a really neat story. I was sharing with the team. I actually was able to witness a lot of this firsthand because I have some of my own kiddos that run middle school cross country. But yeah, a new student to Anthem Prep in middle school who is legally blind, and just the story tells. There's some video in there as well if you want to go into that sometime, but just tells the story of her grandmother who enrolled her and said, "Look, there's a lot of opportunity to do things. You don't have to be limited, and one of these things is to be able to run." And so, yeah, it just tells the story of this really sweet, wonderful young lady who is running the you know in middle school they run two, sometimes upwards of 2.5 miles for cross country, and she's like I said, legally blind, but runs and kind of learns how on the different courses to kind of modulate what she's doing, and finished every race, and it was really tremendous to see. So anyway, stuff like this is happening all across our campuses each and every day. It's terrific. It's wonderful. And we're just really grateful to the team to be able to capture some of those and then send them out into the world via our website or social media or other ways as well. So, anyhow, that's three really great things, and we'll have three more for you next time. And if you're ever interested in more, we can definitely send more your way.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. It helps us remind us that this isn't just about budgets and you know, handbooks and audits when you get to see these. So thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're going to move to enrollment updates, and I think Lynn is going to head that up, if I understand right.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Brandon, did you want to say anything or do you want me to jump in?
No, just yeah, jump in. And Lynel's chair, of course. We're coming about 2.5 weeks to the end of the first semester here, and so we're getting a snapshot that's by the time we create the report and everything, that's about a week and a half old. But anyway, that's what Lynn's going to tell you about.
Yeah, and I think first of all, it bears noting this is obviously a very important year because we're in open enrollment, as Brandon just said, that's going to go through the end of this month. We elongated the open enrollment period both on both the front end and the back end this year to really give ourselves the greatest advantage to get as many folks enrolled as possible and get the word out and have our marketing really take hold out in the marketplace. I think we've probably talked about this before, but we don't meet that frequently, so it bears repeating. There is kind of a national crisis on enrollment across the charter network, but Arizona is not immune from that. There's so much competition, and in Arizona specifically, with people being able to take their money and go private if they want, we're up against it in a lot of different ways, and we're cognizant of that. And because of that, I think our organization, the leadership team included, spends a large amount of time working on enrollment, not just during open enrollment, but all year round. We have a leadership meeting every week on our enrollment situation at any given point in the year because we have that conversation weekly. So we're constantly eyes on it at the highest leadership level. Brandon's in that meeting, Mac and Leanne are in that meeting. There's also uh, over a half a dozen meetings every single week that happen that involve our three-person marketing team, as well as Kathy Lund, who heads up our business ops team, which is heavily involved in enrollment. In fact, everybody's out right now with predictive model meetings at the schools to start talking about next year's enrollment and what those targets should be in the budgets. Finance obviously spends an inordinate amount of time on this. So it really, everybody's cognizant and embracing the fact that as goes enrollment, goes the organization. And there's a lot of ways that we can drill down into this information, but I think the biggest takeaways that I would really want this group to have from this meeting is um, uh, several fold. One thing is, you've heard me talk about before, we've kind of transitioned our efforts so that we're being more specific and intentional and discerning about what the marketing needs to be by school because each community is a little different and has different reasons why they may be having trouble with enrollment or ways in which we can leverage things in their community in order to improve their enrollment. And I think one of the greatest examples of that has been the Roosevelt story. We went from Roosevelt being at the bottom of the list to being at, on this report, 103%. I think they're actually at 107% now. And that was a very intentional and deliberate effort that we made on that campus. And we took one of our three marketing staff people and put her half time at the campus. So she was out there every day, 5 days a week for half of the day. And there were a lot of things that went on with the front office. Kathy and her team worked with the front office at the school, and the school team did amazing work with the registrar and the office manager and family outreach because it's got to be a twofold attack, right? It's got to be not only engagement, but retention. So we're not only trying to bring in new families, but we're trying to keep the existing families. And because that's been so successful at Roosevelt, we're now going to see if we can replicate it. We are now working to, if you look at the bottom three, Arate Prep, Cicero Prep, and Anthem Prep on this page, we are now working to put that same model in place where we take a team member and we assign them to a campus for half of their time during the week. And they do a variety of different things with that time. It can be community outreach. It can be actually literally going out and driving around and taking collateral material and interfacing with, preschools, community centers, whatever the case may be, depending on who we're targeting in terms of the grades that need the most people. But it's also then helping the school with tours, scheduling, events, outreach, info sessions, things like that. So we want to see if we can do what we did at Roosevelt at these other three campuses and really move the needle. So that's a big focus of ours right now. I think that's one big piece. And then another big piece that we're looking at is, under the guise of you can't expect to have something different if you keep doing the same things. So what we're trying to do, I apologize, my cuckoo clock. But what we're trying to do is engage with an entity that we just learned about in the last 6 months called Kingdom Analytics. And they do something that's a little extra as it relates to helping with enrollment, in that they can actually help us find the demographics and the specific mosaics, if you will, of the families who will potentially want what we offer so that we can be even more pinpoint accurate in the way we market and how we do our outreach. So we're going to probably engage with them on a small scale to do sort of a litmus test to see how well that works for us. And if that does end up being a special kind of tool in our tool belt to help us get better at our outreach and communications to people in the Valley. But the point being, we're really wide-eyed and open-minded to all the different ways that we are able to go about doing this in order to get as many people aware about what we have to offer so that for those who want it, they know how to get it and where to go. So I think that's the overarching theme that I would like you all to have, is that we have had some success and now we're trying to figure out how to extrapolate that success across some of the areas where we're in the most need. There's a lot more that we have going on, as you can imagine, with all of the time, effort, and attention that's going into this, but that's the big picture.
Hey, I have a quick question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you determine whether you have the correct budgeted number and try to continue to shoot for that versus perhaps we budgeted too much and we need to bring that down?
Yeah, that's an ongoing exercise. Again, as part of our weekly, what we call our EWT meeting, our enrollment working team. And some of it happens based on our predictive model that we use. If we've been using the predictive model and the school's not been able to hit that number for multiple years in a row, then that's a flag for us that we need to evaluate what's going on and do we possibly need to adjust those numbers. Mac and Leanne are instrumental in those conversations. It's something that we do all year round. We don't only focus on it during budget time. We continue to massage those numbers and look at what's going on. And it can happen for a variety of reasons. At some schools, it can just be changes in what's happening in the community demographic. And other schools, it can be, Chandler comes to mind where, just the structure of the enrollment was one in which we were requiring the school to bring so many more kids in order to hit that
Yeah.
number at the prep level that it was just not something that was reasonable to think was going to happen. And it can be a lot of other things too. And so we are constantly looking at it analytically and checking the numbers and trying to determine if we need to make adjustments. But unfortunately, and Bob, you alluded to this earlier, we do always have to be mindful of that bottom line budget number. And so we do look at it network wide as well. It's not just school by school. And that means that sometimes some of the schools that are performing better or more strongly are helping to carry other parts of the network that are struggling for whatever reason while we try and figure out how to minimize that struggle.
Yeah, and Mona, I'd add to that. One of the pieces of the analysis that Lynn was alluding to was just it involves what our standard section size is per grade levels, and so we actually have for sixth through eighth grade that's 24 students at budget. So you have to have a few more to start the year to land there, and then it's 22 students ninth and 10th, and 20 and 11th, 12th. And so the Chandler example she gave was a good one because of in high times of enrollment, we actually were exceeding that standard across their school. And so we were able to bring them down. But it's even to do that determination, you're also having to bring down all the expenses to line up with it and ensure the whole network is still in shape as Lynn mentioned. So it's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Sounds like quite a balancing act.
Yes, great
Yep.
question though. It is
Yeah.
something we
Yeah.
spend a lot of time on, evaluating, updating, reevaluating, and that's where Kathy and her team have become just really instrumental. A lot of people think of the business ops systems people as that's all they're working on, right? It's just the back end systems, but they're integrally involved in, looking at the numbers and trying to help us figure out where we need to make changes. And then the other side of that equation is all of the front office work that they do, especially now that we've made a commitment to bringing those registrars in much larger picture into the enrollment piece. They're becoming much more responsible and engaged as it relates to how we interface with the families, whether it's new families coming in or existing families. And that happens in large part due to the work that Kathy does with those staff members. It's a big sticky wicket.
And you handle it very well. So, and your team, Lynn. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no, we have an amazing team. They're great. I appreciate
Yeah,
it much.
yeah. So thank you. Any other thoughts or questions on enrollment? If not, I think we're going to move to you, Mac, to talk about kind of as an academic performance update.
I believe Neil's going to take point on this one.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mulhern and
sure.
board members. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to talk about academic performance. As the title suggests, this is really a 2025 year in review. And we'll start here with some really good news, hot on the heels of a wonderful report from my colleagues at Archway Maryville and Maryville Prep. I'm pleased to announce that we had the most A letter grades ever for Great Hearts, Arizona. So looking here on page 62, column 2025, that you'll see a long string of A letter grades. And just to orient the board to what this slide also represents, on the right-hand side, again, you have a corresponding year for the last 4 years. Those are the raw numbers, and we thought that might be helpful insofar as just because a school earns an A letter grade doesn't tell the full story in terms of their performance. I'll remind the board that most of a letter grade calculation is based on state testing. So looking at ASA scores, AASA for grades 3 through 8, ACT for 11th grade, and some other sort of bonus points that a school might earn. And the other one I'll flag for the board is North Phoenix Prep. Their letter grade is under review. So we hope to have an update for the board in January. The note there describes that there were some testing irregularities at North Phoenix Prep, and essentially we self-reported to ADE that we didn't follow all the protocols there for state testing, which caused some tests to be invalidated, and it will take a little bit longer then to calculate their score. So again, we'll have an update for you there soon. So moving to the next slide. So again, this represents historic passing percentages. This first slide is for ELA. On the left, we have our Archway schools. So that's grades 3, 4, and 5. And on the right, our prep schools, grades 6, 7, and 8. So Great Heart schools are represented by the blue line, and the state averages is represented by the orange line. So we, and then there at the bottom, you have a bar graph representing the gap between Great Heart schools and the state average. So of course we're happy that we are 21, 22% higher than the state average in both ELA and you'll see here in a moment math. Notable decline for Archway and our ELA scores, but you'll notice that's also mirrored in the scores for the state of Arizona, which is actually a nationwide trend. We talked about the nationwide trend in enrollment is that we have fewer students entering elementary school and beyond. The nationwide trend still remains that there is a sort of a dip in performance after COVID in 2019, 2020. So that's where you see that dip begin. So we've got some good work ahead of us there. On the next slide, math, historic passing percentage. Again, a healthy performance gap between the blue line representing Great Hearts Arizona and the orange line representing the state average. So a 23 to 26% gap. But again, we see that decline in performance following the 2020 pandemic, and our teachers, our headmasters have been working very hard to fill those proficiency gaps and to get our students to where they once were pre-pandemic. And finally, on slide 65, these are our ACT college readiness benchmark percentages. So to orient our board to the ACT, this is a test that all of our 11th graders take, and when I don't know if you've looked at an ACT report recently, but there is a cut score of a sort for ACT. A cut score that represents a college readiness sort of watermark for ELA and for math. And I won't go too deeply into what that means, but it gives families and it gives schools an idea of how ready our students are for that first year math or English course at a college of their choice. And we're really proud to see here that we're making some positive increases in terms of student performance in ACT, both in ELA and the state average. So the blue bars, that represents Great Heart student performance. the sort of gold bars there represent in ELA, and the gold bars represent Great Hearts Arizona performance in math, and the sort of white circles and the percentages there, that is the state average. And so we're happy that we're seeing that number go up. But of course, we're hard at work, as my colleagues mentioned earlier in the call. There's always work to do, and uh, Executive Director Esau, Executive Director Fawcett, and I are working with our headmasters to continue to encourage our students to perform at a high level. And so this year, more than ever, we're spending time in classrooms. The three of us are on the road every week. I'm here actually at Archway Scottsdale. I was at Scottsdale Prep this morning, saw some great math lessons. And we know that the most important person in a student's educational journey is their teacher. And so we're pouring into teachers via classroom visits, instructional coaching, and so we spend a lot of time out in the field. Our headmasters, their coaching teams spend a lot of time in classrooms, and we are attentive now more than ever to intervention. What can we do for the students that have academic deficiencies, that are not yet achieving at a high level, but we know would benefit from a Great Hearts education, and we want to make sure that we're supporting them. So we're again looking to refine and improve our intervention processes at all of our Great Hearts schools. And with that, I'll yield my time.
Well, Neil, thank you so much. I know it's that's what it's all about. It's helping our students achieve, and hopefully create a not just a academic, but in many other ways, advantage out in for the rest of their lives. So thanks for tracking this and very clearly presenting it to us. I don't have any questions. I don't know. I don't know if John's still with us. He might have left. He had a 12 o'clock. But Mona, do you have any questions?
This is really great information, Neil, so thank you for that. And it's kind of shocking if you go back one slide, it's kind of shocking the fall that, yeah, I can't believe that fall that the state had between 2019 and 2021 in the 345. It's very bad. And I see they're working their way up. So I do just have one question. So luckily we did not fall that much, but I see that there's like a trend down. Any idea why that is? I mean, obviously we're much further above the state, but I'm just curious why you think there might be that trend down versus a trend up or steady.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. We're acutely aware that our students their pass rates, as you mentioned, are a lower percentage than they once were, and in some cases continue to be
Yeah.
trending down. Right. So that graph that you're noticing on the left, that's grades 3, 4, and 5 for math, and probably the biggest reason, Mona, is a demographic shift. So we now, so I could maybe bring a graph to represent this at a future board meeting. But we've had a demographic shift such that we have across all of our schools more students that qualify for FRL, so lower income families. More students with IEPs, so greater ESS caseload, more students that are English language learners. So the community that we're serving has changed, and we welcome that.
Yeah.
And so that's why we are spending a lot more time thinking about and fine tuning our intervention plans, because there's there's a great there's still some learning loss from COVID, believe it or not, that still exists. And we get now more than ever, we have students entering our school with greater and greater academic proficiency gaps. And as you know, we have a rigorous curriculum. So how do we get them to the place where they can access the beautiful things that their peers are?
Gotcha. That's a great answer. I mean, it basically is saying that we're reaching the people I think that Great Hearts wants to reach with their mission, but it's just a changing demographics, and you just have to work a little harder to fill those gaps. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for the question.
Neil, I think it's important to note. I mean, I know there's been a lot of factors we've discussed, but even the enrollment data, as Lynn mentioned, and coincides with this as well, right? Because the more new students we're bringing in later into the program becomes harder and harder for them to achieve at the same levels. So we have demographic shifting and more students coming in later into the program, which are kind of compounding those challenges. But not something we can't, surmount, but it just takes a lot of dedicated work within the academy and at the at our home office as well.
Very true.
Yeah, on that end, it would be interesting, because I know we do have a certain cohort every year that's gone K through 12, and just curious how they've done along the way. It probably looks a little different than this, but it is. I think you start to see. Because I have my second child who's now at seventh, that just started in kindergarten, and it's pretty amazing how this builds one on the other and everything, not just math and reading, but I'm telling you, art, and you learn how to shade and everything as a kindergartner, and it all adds up. So that'd be an interesting bar to see if it's not too hard to come up with in the future.
Yes, can do. Yeah, thank you for that suggestion.
Sure. Okay, well, I think we'll move on then to you, Mac. I think you'll handle this. I try to give everything to you, but I think this is yours.
So, all right, I appreciate it. I'm trying to do the same. Brandon won't let me, hand it all off. No, this is why we're all here. We're talking fall athletics, and it really was a banner year, as they would say, for us from the highlights. But I'll start with participation numbers. We had, again, strong turnout from both middle school and high school. Interesting, the last 5 years we've seen numbers increase just year over year, and this is the first time we saw just a slight dip. And so I pressed in with John Rickey just about that. It's not something of concern, but we saw a couple things happening at play. One is some of our schools were at one point allowing fifth graders to play up into sixth grade, and we've actually just been getting such strong numbers that we had to stop allowing that. I mean, Scottsdale Prep alone had 14 volleyball teams, and so just even finding gym time for all the teams, they had to kind of stop that practice, and so that took down some of our numbers. And then as well, like one thing we have done is just ensure that when we have programs up and running, that they have a requisite number of kind of athletes to keep it strong and well, and that's good for not only the health of that sport or the program, but also just the financial picture that involves running athletics, which is very expensive. So we've had a few kind of programs here or there, whether it's weightlifting at Chandler or some other kind of spots at other schools where the program has been discontinued. So numbers are not of concern, still high, and represent a high percentage of students participating in. It ranges typically in our schools around from about half to kind of 2/3 of the student body participating in sports. So great to see from that end. But with the highlights that we did have a three-peat champion in the Cicero Prep Centurions and volleyball. I don't know how much. I'd like to know the data out there, like how much this happens, but like an AIA level team to win 3 years in a row of Vegas Warriors is pretty incredible. And what was neat was like we not only took first place, but Anthem was the runner-up number 2. And then at one point in the weekend, North Phoenix was the only other team left. So our Great Hearts represented the top 3 teams left, in the tournament there for volleyball. So that was really awesome. Similarly, in terms of very difficult feat, we had Glendale Prep go back to back as cross country boys champions there, and North Phoenix stepped in and took the girls championship with, of course, Veritas as the runner up. So in the volleyball and cross country spaces, a lot of strength. When you turn to football, it was a really exciting year on the bottom bullet point. We actually had five teams in the 2A, it's the largest conference level we play in, all go into the playoffs. We had Chandler, Veritas, and Trivium all advanced beyond even the first round. The hard part with this point is we had Veritas actually as the number one seed in all of 2A, and they were upset in the quarterfinals. I was there. I threw a fit. I just no, no. It was an intense game. They really had, almost came back on it, but it's just how the game goes. But so much. If you think about their team from even 3 years ago, and Bob, you know this, as well, like the amount of improvement and to go undefeated through the regular season, take the number one seed was pretty incredible. So all in all, really really great fall season from athletics. But yeah, what questions do you guys have from what we're doing out there in the world of sport?
It's nice to see. I mean, as you guys know early on, and it's being addressed, and it has been addressed, obviously. There was always, a concern that we hadn't rounded off our students with this opportunity, and it's clearly there. I guess curious I'd have on the girls volleyball teams. I know Veritas back in the day won three in a row, and they had a couple of students go on to play some pretty high level volleyball. I'm wondering if some of them have scholarships to some big places out of that team, because usually a great team has a couple of
Yeah,
really
yeah.
great players.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think one of those students even went on to play in the Olympics, right? What, I'm trying
Right,
to
yeah.
recall her
Sarah
her
did,
last
yeah.
name, Sarah. Yep, that's right.
Sponsel.
And so, yep. So, I'll have to check. I'll have to inquire. I think that their team has been, from what I even saw, I actually caught last year's championship. Very well-rounded team, so there wasn't any weak points on it. I
Right.
don't know if there's the standouts that are going to go to the Olympic level at this point, but yeah, real strong team overall.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be, and you got to be coached well, and as you know,
Mhm.
I remember when my one of my sons, what they won their soccer league when he was like 10 years old, and I said, you might never be a champ, any league, it's hard to be the champion on, and the more
Yep.
you get this level, it's just harder and harder and harder. So I was heartbroken for the Veritas football team too, but this is really good to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Any other questions, comments on athletics? If not, we'll move over to review the financial reports. Thanks, Mac, for all that, by the way.
So we have a pretty solid start to our year. You can see that enrollment, this is data through September 30th. So enrollment at that time, we were ahead by 30. That enrollment number, as we continue to see the attrition come, or as enrollment continues to decline throughout the year, we will likely, I think we're going to end up around budget, maybe slightly under. We're hopeful for not a lot of second semester attrition, but that we'll wait and see. So the operating revenue through September is high because of those additional 30 students. So that's a timing thing. I expect that variance to budget to come down throughout the year as we continue to provide you updates. Operating expenses, headmasters are doing a really great job at controlling expenses this year. I know one of the concerns that we had, especially last year and the year prior, was our supplies budget. Our schools are doing a great job at managing to their supplies budgets this year. So operating expenses are slightly favorable. Some of that is timing related things. We are seeing some savings in the facilities area, and as the year progresses, depending on how many break fixes we need to do at the schools, we might end up spending some of that money on different needed repairs and maintenance, like painting and different things. So overall, through September, net operating income is about $2 million favorable. And then if we move over to the net income line,
That's a big number. Um, two pieces are contributing to that. Number one is Veritas Prep received a large pledge to help underwrite their capital campaign. So that pledge gets uh, booked in the general ledger of the year that the pledge is received. And so that's one piece of it, about 1.4 million. And then the other is just favorable gains on the various investments that we have. So obviously that's subject to market risk, and that could fluctuate throughout the year. But so far through September, looking very well. Um, Related to the different bond covenants that we have, obviously everything's fine with the unrestricted fund balance and days cash on hand. We always continue to monitor Maryville Prep and Roosevelt Prep, and we'll grant them out additional cash. We do have that budgeted. But we will provide those additional grants as necessary. There's a few other schools that have debt service coverage ratio problems in September, but those will resolve before the end of the year. And we, as I stay every time, we always make sure that all of our schools meet their bond covenants every single year. Any questions on financial results?
I have to say it every time, Katie. You guys do an incredible job on a lot of numbers, and then when the audit comes out and says you did them all right, that's even better. So um, thank you again and again and again for how hard your team works to get us this, because it's so nice to know that we're keeping track of good or bad,
Yeah,
in a school or not, that we know what the numbers are, and it can be confident in them. So thank you so much again.
thanks.
Well, I think that's it for our agenda. Um, Anybody have any? I know it's announcements or adjournment. Any announcements?
The well, just a lot of gratitude to you all. I know Mona. I think we're going to see you tonight at our LS event. So we hear at least. So excited for that, and then just really appreciate Bob, you and Mona, and then also John and Christopher, and hope that you have a wonderful holiday coming up here, a great Christmas, and then I know we sent out the invites, and it's a busy time this Saturday from about 5:30 to 9:30 at Lucy's there at about 12th Street in Northern. We have our annual home office and headmaster holiday party, board members. So feel free if you are able to come by, grab a bite to eat. It's can definitely pop in and out, but we love to just celebrate the accomplishment of one year and the beginning of the next. But just really appreciate all of you and your ongoing support and leadership. So thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. With any any other announcements? Hearing none, I will ask, I guess with just one of me, we don't need to take a vote. We'll just adjourn the meeting at 12:17 p.m. So thank you everyone for helping keep us on time. And I agree with Brandon. Let's all go out and I really appreciate this year and look forward to the next one. Okay. Take care, everyone.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Bye. Thank you.